Over the past year, I've been making a series about how many Mario Kart tracks are possible to drive on in real life. In each entry, I just focused on one game. Unless it was like really old and couldn't fill up a video of its own. Each video in the series is self-contained and only talks about tracks featured in those games. So in this video, I thought it would be pretty interesting to look at the Mario Kart series as a whole. Going into this, I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. I just watch all my old videos again and then come to a conclusion. But it's not that easy. Also, if you haven't seen the series, I think you should really check it out because I think they're good videos, but also what I'm saying in this video won't replace those videos. I'm not gonna sit here and just list them all out again, so if you want to see what I think about each track individually, I have a playlist that's on my channel. Anyway, you might be asking, oh, why can't you just look at your old videos and then add up the totals at the end of the video and then boom, video done? Well, first of all, I've made a couple of mistakes in my older videos. Like how when I said Music Park was possible in the first video in the series, I don't know how I looked at this drum and was like, yeah, my little hatchback would totally survive this bounce. Also, in my Double Dash video, I mentioned that I was wrong about Waluigi Stadium in my Mario Kart 8 video, so that has to change as well. Speaking of Double Dash, in the Double Dash video, I don't know what I was thinking about, only giving Mushroom City half a point. I said something about driving into head-on traffic as part of this track, but real cars have brakes, so you could just kind of wait for an opening. So Mushroom Bridge just gets a full point. So I just have to fix up that data when I add up how many tracks are possible. Seems like that's the only problem, and now we're ready to add them all up. There couldn't be any more problems with doing this, right? Oh yes, there can be. Let me just ask you a nice, easy, simple question real quick. Nothing crazy or anything, just how many Mario Kart tracks are there? At first you're probably like, oh, that's simple, just look at how many tracks are in each game and then just add it up. And honestly, you could probably go and do that, but to me that just seems like a really boring and easy way to answer the question. It doesn't work for me because if you look at a track like Wii Rainbow Road, it's basically the same exact track in Mario Kart Wii and in Mario Kart 8, so why would I count it twice? Also, I didn't cover these tracks in the series, but Super Circuit has every track from the SNES game in it. I can't count those as separate tracks because they're pretty much exactly the same as the original. But then sometimes when Nintendo retros a track, they change it, like, significantly. So now it's a completely new track compared to what it was before. Also, sometimes they make a change, but it isn't really that big of a change, but it is technically a change, so now the track is different. When I say that, I'm talking about Waluigi Stadium with this new, like, upper ramp thing in the half-pipe section. Like, it's different, but it's the same. So now I'm gonna go and study every track that's been retroed and then come to an actual total number of unique tracks in Mario Kart. Also, I should say that I'm not even touching the arcade games because I don't know how I can play them and record them. Also, I won't be doing Tour because it's not a mainline game in my mind, and the remix tracks sound like a nightmare to deal with. So now I'm just gonna go game by game and look at all the retro tracks. To start out, we have the easiest one, and that's the SNES. We don't have to worry about retro tracks because there's no tracks that came before this game. Although I should add, just because tracks have the same name, that doesn't mean that they are the same track. I mean, you knew that, but I'm just saying because there's multiple Bowser Castle 2s and 3s. What a genius way to name all the tracks, Nintendo. Anyway, this game has 20 tracks and all of them are unique. The next game is Mario Kart 64, and they don't do retros in this game either. I think they were just trying to show off the power of the new console by making completely new tracks that were actually 3D. Anyway, that means all 16 of these tracks are added to the total. And like I said earlier, Super Circuit has all the SNES tracks retroed into it, and while I think that is cool, I can just ignore that because all the tracks are pretty much the same. So the 20 tracks that are left are unique, so we add those 20 to the total. Double Dash is the last one in the series that doesn't have any retro tracks at all, so another 16 are all good. The DS is where tracks actually started getting retroed like how they are today. Half of the tracks in this game are retro tracks, and this time it wasn't just some whole other game crammed into this one. This was their first time retroing tracks that were actually 3D though, so they didn't really change any of them. Like even the kind of boring ones like Donut Plains 1, they just left the same. So I'm gonna have to make a cut here and say Mario Kart DS only has 16 tracks added to the total rather than the whole 32 that are in the game. The next game is Mario Kart Wii, and obviously the 16 original tracks get added to the total. But there are retro tracks that actually have a difference this time. There's a really small one in Waluigi Stadium where the half-pipe section can actually be jumped off of now. I wouldn't count that as a real change though because the track is pretty much exactly the same. Like, this is not a significant enough change whatsoever. There is one though that I would actually add to the list. N64's Bowser's Castle first of all has a completely different bridge in this version, but what I think is a bigger deal is the jump right after this. The jump on the Wii version is completely different and actually has these lava pillars that shoot up at you. I think this is a big enough difference that it should be added to the list. That's kind of it though, so I'm gonna say that Mario Kart Wii has 17 tracks added to the total. Our next game is Mario Kart 7, and this game has a tendency to just add random glider jumps everywhere. I think I actually have to add all of these to the total though, because when they do this, they also add on an entirely new path into the track, which is, yeah, it's different. I'll only add a track to the total if the glider ramp is actually on the track and if the ramp adds a new path. So Luigi's Mansion and Koopa Beach won't count. So because of all that, 4 of the tracks are added to the total. Along with that, Daisy Cruiser is added because of the drivable pool, the drivable left side, and the aquarium stuff. Also Koopa Cape because of the new stupid pipe section that they decided to change for some reason. So there were 16 original tracks and then 6 that were changed, so that brings us to 22 added to the total. For our last game, we have like a million tracks to look at, so that's fun. There's a total of 45 tracks that are original to the game. All of the Super Circuit tracks are completely changed in this new version, so there's 8 more. 4 of the N64 ones are, 2 of the SNES, 3 from Double Dash, and 3 from DS. It's actually kind of crazy, none of the Wii or 3DS tracks were changed at all for this one. I guess it kind of makes sense because they just were more recent games at the time. Anyway, 8 Deluxe brings a whopping 57 more tracks to the total. And if my math is correct, that means we have 184 unique tracks. Alright, wait, I'm not done. Oh yeah, I still have to actually see how many are possible now. So what's good is that the first 3 games are exactly the same as my videos, so awesome. We know that these tracks have a combined 30 possible tracks in real life. Double Dash is just a half point more than my video because of my mistake, so we have 12. The DS isn't too hard either because I just have to subtract the retro tracks from the total, so I ended up with 9. The Wii is pretty easy too because I just do the same thing I did with the DS because the one track that we kept wasn't possible anyway. So for the Wii, we end up with 6 more tracks added to the total. For Mario Kart 7, most of the possible tracks came from the retro ones, so we have a whopping 5 possible tracks. 8 Deluxe has an impressive 13, which is less impressive when you remember that it has 57 unique tracks in it. With all of this data together, we have 74 tracks that are possible in real life out of the total 184. Now it's time to give some awards. For our first award, we have the game with the least amount of possible tracks, and that goes to Mario Kart 7. That's kind of surprising to me because it has more tracks in it than any other game that isn't Mario Kart 8. I guess while we're here, we can also give Mario Kart 7 the award for the lowest percentage of possible tracks as well. An astounding 22.73% of the tracks in this game are possible to drive on, and it's honestly impressive how low it is. For our next award, we have the most possible tracks to drive on in a single game. And the winner is Mario Kart 8, like obviously. This is kind of a Mickey Mouse award, like does this even count? It has over twice as many tracks as any other game. It also only beat Mario Kart 7 in the percentage one by 0.08%, so this feels like kind of a broken award. Now for the award that actually matters, the highest percentage of passes. That award goes to Mario Kart Double Dash with 68.75% of the tracks being possible in real life. Going into this series, I would not have thought that that game would have the highest percentage. Like, I would have guessed SNES or Super Circuit, but nope, Double Dash is the winner. Well, there we go. We finally have answered how many Mario Kart tracks are possible in real life. I'll show you some graphs of the stats from the series while I talk here. I think the most surprising thing to me is that the DS has a higher completion percentage than the Game Boy, which just seems backwards to me. Anyway, this series has been so much fun to make, and I can't say enough how much I've appreciated you guys watching these videos. If you've liked my Mario Kart videos, don't worry, I'm not done making them, and I've got a couple more ideas for more videos in the future. Thank you to everyone who subscribed or liked. It's so cool that I'm over like 8,100 subscribers. If you'd like to see more and you're not subscribed, maybe you should do that. Anyway, check out the playlist if you want to see the whole series and how I got all these numbers. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching the entire video. That's awesome. Like it, maybe. And I can't wait to see you guys again when I find out how many tracks in Mario Kart World are possible to drive on in real life.